Wonders shall never end. I love smart people. People like Tinubu, Bola Tinubu, they are the smartest. But he don't come cry, come out, they tell Nigeria, say, he no fit accept the way we be say Nigeria economy dey. Above all, the unemployed situation. You see, it's unacceptable. You heard it. But are your children looking for a job the way the normal people are looking for a job in Nigeria? The answer is no. So who is not shitting who? For those of you that have not seen this video from Arise News, take a look. It's a bomb.
Just 9 days shy of 100 days in office. In his address, President Tinubu sets the stage, acknowledging the challenges that lie ahead. He places a spotlight on the pressing issue of unemployment and the state of the economy.
The expectation is high, and there's tough time right now. We must work hard, commit ourselves, and create a buoyant economy that will serve every Nigerian. We have unemployment that is a level that is not acceptable. We are threatened by climate change. But to turn things around, you have been selected to perform your utmost best.
The president further emphasizes collaboration among ministers, underscoring the essence of strong leadership.
It is all in your hand now. I'm ready to listen. Like I said to the NBA yesterday, I'm ready, even for corrections. Only God is perfect. Don't be afraid to take decisions in this situation that you have been called upon to fetch water from a dry well.
Following their closed-door deliberations, ministers reaffirmed the president's directives, pledging to turn words into action as quickly as possible.
We're looking at different sectors of the economy that will contribute to this job creation. Chief among them is the creative industry and the digital economy. His Excellency has also given the mandate that this has to be done quickly. So we should see all of these investments coming into power. We have actually secured commitments from investors into power sector, the rail and transportation sector, security, architecture, steel, digital backbone, solid minerals. And we're engaging these investors.
We also examined the president's 8-point agenda. And those are basically food security, ending poverty, economic growth and job creation, access to capital, particularly consumer credit, inclusivity in all its dimensions, particularly as regards youth and women, improving security, improving the playing field on which people and particularly companies operate, rule of law, and of course, fighting corruption.
Mr. President's vision is to ensure that Nigeria recovers lost time as quickly as possible.
The coordinating minister of the economy reiterates the administration's departure from past borrowing-centered approaches.
Clearly, the federal government is not in a position to borrow at this time. Rather, the emphasis has to be on creating a stable macroeconomic environment, stable inflation, stable exchange rate, and an environment within which people can come and invest.
Recently, Nigeria's unemployment rate dropped to 4.1% from 5.3%, thanks to a fresh methodology. While analysts acknowledge ongoing challenges, the resounding message from President Bola Tinubu and his team following their inaugural council meeting today is clear. A determined approach will tackle obstacles head-on. From the presidential villa, Adesua Omoruan, Arise News.
Well, today we will understand what is going on in terms of the 8-point agenda and how to go about that. But we thank you very much, Adeto Omoran, for that excellent report as always. Kay, your take on this?
Well, today I pray for President Tinubu that as long as he remains the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, God, please forgive him and give him wisdom for all the wrongdoings and his sins. Lord, I pray for the sake of innocent Nigerians to show him mercy. For all the deception during electioneering campaign about Nigeria being good and better under APC as compared to PDP, I pray that God will ignore the lies. But I am very upset that Vice President Shettima has the effrontery to say that Nigeria is in a mess. All Nigerians cannot forget how the presidential candidate of APC, the one our current president called Ogunefori APC, he said he will give us a recipe of help to remove migraine and headache. For 8 years, Nigerians suffered, but during the campaign, they told us that President Buhari has done well. Please show me the good work that every single one of the APC candidates said President Buhari did that they wanted to continue. Where are the good works I'd like to see? Show me the great improvements on the nation's polity and economy that they're trying to improve on. So if that is the case, then they have to show that they have failed us and lied to us about this. But at the moment, we just want to ask, where are the good works? And if there are none, let them acknowledge it. And then we can begin to talk about the fact that we're in a mess and how we're going to improve that mess. The FEC meeting, as I said yesterday, it was obvious that that FEC meeting is good. Inauguration, the president said all the right things. They should not fear, they should not be afraid, they should not worry. They should work on making Nigeria better. They should not be scared of anything, which is good. But I will say for sure that it is only when Nigeria acknowledges where we are that we can get better. And it looks like the president is acknowledging that we're in a mess. The vice president is acknowledging it as well. So let's work towards making sure that Nigeria gets better. Ayo.
Thanks, Kay. Well, Vice President Kashim Shettima has charged members of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms to develop a robust roadmap that will transform the country's economy. The Vice President met at the Presidential Villa with members of the committee led by the chairman, Taiwo Oyedele. Oyedele says the committee is ready to engage with sub-national governments through the National Economic Council in achieving its mandate.
Mr. President was very clear that he's not interested in committees writing reports. He has said to us, as you recommend and you get the approval, go ahead and help me to implement. So that's why we have milestones, 3 of them. The first one is the first 30 days, which is where we're focusing on the quick wins, interventions around fuel subsidy removal, exchange rate stability. And then we have the second milestone, which is the first 6 months. This first 6 months is for critical reforms. We plan to rewrite the law so they are simple, so that we remove the burden on the poorest people. And then lastly is 1 year, which is implementation. And the good thing is that the 30 days, the 6 months, and 1 year, we run concurrently. So we're already counting down to our first 30 days.
All right. So on the focus yesterday into this morning, economic recovery, 8-point agenda, get to work or be fired.
Goodness me.
Fired.
So at first, let me start on a good note. What's the good note? Let me give kudos to President Tinubu for now understanding the level of the problems in the country, which they claimed during the election never existed. Let me also give kudos to him for admitting that there's high unemployment rate, despite the 4.1% we saw, by changing the format. And please, for those that make those arguments, as well as international-based formats, I spoke to a reliable source that said we are not getting things right. I would not want to quote my source. And this is the most reliable source on data in this country. That it is evidence there. And if you use that ILO standard, you will not get a true reflection of what is happening. In fact, this source had been pushed before in the past be able to use that standard, and it was rebuffed. So I'm happy now that all of a sudden, without giving us 2021 data, they give us 2022 5.3, and now they're giving us 4.1. He has admitted that there's high level of unemployment. And Mr. Kashim Shettima has also admitted that this economic situation is dire. And who made this dire? President Muhammadu Buhari. So I commend and I give kudos to Bola Tinubu as he charged the minister. Mr. K, you called it lies. Let me sugarcoat it for them so that they don't say I'm too harsh. What they said during campaign was what we call poetry.
Poetry, huh?
Campaign poetry. You know Mario Cuomo? They say we campaign in poetry, but we govern in prose. So they've told us the poetry of campaign. Now they are getting to the prose of governance now. And I'm happy about some things. And that's why I say I give President Tinubu kudos. He said he's going to cut cost of government. People that don't have business with hunger will not go to hunger. Let's see how he implements it. He wants to fix the economy. He wants to do this and all of that. Kudos to him on all of that. But it's in the implementation. It is not just by identifying the problem and romancing the problem. Nnamdi Azikiwe talked about analysis paralysis. We can analyze the problem to a point of paralysis. We know the problem. Everybody knew the problem. Even when the campaign poetry was going on and say, oh, that data is wrong and all of that. When we're giving them the rightful question, and those people were tagging us and calling us, we knew the truth, but we knew their responses were poetry. But now, the same people that told us that, oh, President Muhammadu Buhari, they want to continue his legacy, now they are saying his legacy was not good enough. So they will keep talking because this is time for prose, not poetry any longer. But in order for this, their motivation to change Nigeria does not become poetry or audio, they need to back it up with implementation. And that's why this morning I want to set KPI for the ministers, because the media should do this. The Minister of Finance, for instance, number one, his major priority should be the economy. What will he do with the economy in the next 6 months? Provide jobs, resuscitate the MSMEs and the small businesses, bring about ease of doing business, working with PEBEC. Those are the most important things. Minister of Labor, job creation. Nigeria needs job. I hear in that meeting some people were talking about 50 million jobs.